Yes, ready.
Okay, thank you. So we are going to meditate for some time, and we are going to come back. We are going to share the meditation experience first. Whosoever has an experience or anything that you want to share, that is going to be shared first. And after that, we are going to discuss what is toxicity in a relationship, right? So just let me know if the music is fine and if it's audible. Just let me know over the chat whether the music is fine, whether it's audible. Thank you, Swapnam. slowly and gently start moving towards the physical world. This world where you learn, where you evolve, the world which is full of opportunities for you to grow, to learn, to evolve. Just gently come back to your physical self and embrace this physical world with a beautiful smile on your face. Welcome everyone. Welcome back. Hello, welcome everyone. Welcome back to this beautiful physical world, and let's welcome ourselves in this physical world once again. You there? Everybody's there. Because now we are going to go on a roller coaster ride, because this session that we are going to discuss today is a very interesting and a very beautiful session. Okay, I hope you all had a wonderful, wonderful meditation today. I hope you loved the music and liked the music. So let's come back to the topic of today, that is understanding the toxicity in a relationship. So let's first understand what is toxicity, or what is a toxic relationship. Why do we call a relationship a toxic one? So the toxic relationship is what? The relationship becomes toxic when it is mentally, emotionally, spiritually damaging. When there is fear in a relationship, when there is submission in a relationship, or when there is domination in a relationship, or when there is a deception in a relationship, that is when the relationship starts festering, when it starts getting toxic. So I'm talking about not just the relationship that you have with your spouses. The relationship can be with your friend. The relationship can be with your parents, with your kids, or with your relatives, anybody. So I'm talking about all the relationships, because toxicity can come in any of these relationships. There is a difference between a toxic relationship and an abusive relationship. So you need to understand what is the difference between the two. So when we say about toxic and abusive, all kind of abuse is toxic, but not all the toxicity is abusive. For example, if you're not taking a self-responsibility of a particular situation, it is toxic, but it is not abusive. So abuse is basically what? Abuse is something that is intentionally inflicted on somebody. But when we talk about toxicity, toxicity is the byproduct of a bad behavior. This is what toxicity is. So, since I've been counseling so many people, and most of the people who have come to me to get the angel guidance or to get the guidance, general guidance as well, they have always come with a problem that the relationship has become toxic. Even if, you know, they feel that the relationship is toxic, but still they want to continue with that relationship, which is actually very appalling sometimes. Because, maybe it is between the husband and wife, maybe it is because they have so many, they have a close relationship with each other, but they still want to continue with that relationship. And here I'm not talking about just the women folk. I'm talking about men also. I have also come across so many men who have been actually suffered the toxicity in a relationship for years altogether. So it is, this toxicity is, or a relationship, becomes toxic, and then there are men who are also suffering and the women are also suffering. But there is a certain cause, there is a certain reason that why these relationships become toxic. So this is my inference, after counseling so many people. So I'm just sharing those causes, that why do we want to be in a relationship that we know that is a toxic one, but still we want to continue with it. Number one is, which is one of the most foremost reasons I have come across, is because we do not want to be alone. And especially this fear I have seen in women like us, like me, because we are social creatures and we don't want to be alone. We always have this fear in our mind that, if that person, or if our spouse, or if somebody on whom we are dependent on, even if the relationship is toxic, if that person leaves us, what will happen to us? What will happen to our security? What will happen, and how will I be able to survive in this world without that person? So especially women have this issue, because right now the world is changing, yes, because women are also stepping into the same shoes in which the men are. They are taking their responsibilities, they are taking professional responsibilities, and everything is happening, at a very fast pace with the women also. But still there is a particular bracket where the women are there who are not working yet, and they are not financially independent. So they have this kind of a fear that, no, I cannot live alone. There's always a fear that, what will happen if I go? Who will take care of me financially, emotionally, spiritually, or mentally? Who's going to take care of me or my home? So this kind of a thing actually makes us, or makes anybody, to continue in a relationship, even if that relationship can be toxic. Another reason is that, which I have come across, it is my inference. It is not, I'm not saying that you have to agree with me, whatever I'm saying. It's just that I'm sharing my experiences with you, and I'm sharing whatever I've come across. So you can also, you're free to differ from me as well. So the second thing that I have come across is that, we have a feeling that we love the other person. But I think, I believe that the word love has always been misinterpreted. Because I don't think so. There is anybody who loves somebody. There are always attachments. There is no love. So that day when I was sitting in company of Patrisa, so there was a one person who asked this question that, so according to you, what is love? He said, love doesn't exist. There's only friendship that exists. There's no love in this entire universe. And the only love that exists is the love between mother and the child when the child is born. And when the child is, about 5 years or 7 years of age, that love also turns into attachment. because we try to control that baby. Till that time, the love the mother is giving to the child is unconditional. So when we say that, oh my God, we love that person, even if we are in a toxic relationship, we love that person, no matter that person is hitting us hard with the words or with the actions, no matter what that other person is doing, but still we want to be in a relationship because we love that person, then I think we all are living in a fantasy world, because it is not the love, it is the attachment, it is our need from inside that is actually making us live in that particular relationship, no matter how abusive is that relationship or how toxic that relationship might be. Then the third reason that I have come across is that, especially the ladies, especially women, we feel trapped because of the children. Suppose the children are there and they are grown-ups, or probably they are not even grown-ups, even if they're infants or they're kids, there is always a scare in us that who's going to take care of the children if we get out of this relationship, if we get out of this toxicity, if we say no to this relationship and go out, what will I do? So my cousin, and she's my first cousin, so she was going through the same. Her relationship was toxic, and she was still continuing. She had one girl and she had a little boy. So she had two kids, and she was so scared of parting ways with the husband, because she was scared, because she said, what will I do? Even though she was on a very good position, she was earning good, but still she was feeling that, what if I go out, what will the society think, that I am the one who has done everything, and because of that I'm parting ways. So there was so much that was going on in her, and she was not able to part ways with her husband, and she continued for 10 years, 10 long years. But after 10 years, then she came to me and she said, no, Sharoo, I don't think so I will be able to continue. And then she parted ways with the husband. And today she is happy. Today she is, because she is out of that toxicity. She's able to take care of her husband. She's able to take care of her kids and her life. She has taken the reins of her own life in her own hands, and she's earning well as well. But sometimes it happens, and it is absolutely normal if we start thinking about the children, because whenever we are leading a married life, whenever there is a married life, the first thing for a woman or first thing for a mother is to think about the children. What will happen to the children? What will happen to their future if I part ways with my partner? What will happen to that person? Similarly is with the men. The only thing that they don't have to think about is the professional front, probably because they're already working, they're well settled. They don't have to think about their settlement or financial issues. But it is not that they don't go through any emotional turmoil. They do. Trust me, I've come across such men who go through so much because of the toxicity of their spouses or their parents. The fourth thing is, the fourth cause that makes us continue to be in a toxic relationship is thinking about the multitude or magnitude of the repercussions that will come. Again, especially the women folk. What will happen to my parents if they get to know that, I'm parting ways and I'm getting out of the marriage? They might throw a fit, or they might, they'll be so affected that they will actually do something to their lives. This is always a fear, that is always a scare within the women. And that is why, because women have been conditioned from the very beginning itself that you have to do everything, whatever is in your hands, in order to make this relationship or marriage work. In fact, when I talk about myself, because I've always given you my experiences whenever I take the session, because it is not something that I take from the books that I give you. It's all my experiences that I share. The same thing happened with me. So when my relationship was becoming toxic, When I went to my parents, that was, I'm saying, it's been 22 years now in my marriage. So it was just 1 or 2 years after my marriage when I went back to my parents and I told them that this is what my in-laws do. And, my husband is also not listening to me. The relationship is so toxic. What do I do? The first thing that they said was, Sharoo, everybody compromises. Every woman compromises. So you also have to do the same. And I was shocked to hear that now what do I do? Where do I go? So that means I have to go back and have to do the same thing again and again and again. And I did. Because I was like you at that time. I didn't have any other divine support at that time. And these were the challenges that I had actually determined in my pre-birth planning. And I was going through and I was facing that. But at that time, the awareness was not there. And when the awareness came, when I started taking the reins of my life in my hand, then I started understanding that, okay, this is toxicity. But now I need to either finish this toxicity by getting out of this relationship. But if I want to be in this relationship, then I have to work towards this. So this is what angels told me. And every time today also, if any couple comes to me for the counseling, I always tell them to give one chance again to your own selves. Why? Because husband and wife basically are the vessels through whom we actually learn the harshest of the lessons in our lives. Trust me on that. And after that, if they have given them their, whatever efforts, if they have made all the efforts in that another chance, and if they think that they cannot do it again, then fine. They are free to take any kind of a step later on. So these are the what I was telling you were the causes that why actually we as humans want to be in a toxic relationship. Why I took the example of only husband and wife is because this toxicity is in every pair, in every household today. And we are not able to understand why does this happen. It's the story of every next door neighbor. Now, how do we know that we are in a toxic relationship? What is basically the criteria or what is the barometer? So there are certain signs that, I jotted down so that, I can ask you or tell you that, okay, so these are the signs maybe, and you can just go through it and you can just, understand that are these signs there in my life? For example, if in a relationship, any kind of relationship, if you can't speak freely, that means you are in a toxic relationship. If any of the relationships you're being made fun of, that means your self-esteem or self-worth is not being respected by the other person, be it your friend, be it your relative, be it anybody. Recently, I was just taking a session and on angels, and there was a lady who called me up and she said that, Sharoo, I had gone to give my last respects to one of my relatives. And when I went there, all my relatives were actually making fun of my physical body. Everybody was saying and telling me that you have a fat body. So after some time, I started having a heartache. So she said, what do I do? I said, nothing. You need to protect yourself from the toxicity. You just need to, let them say whatever they have to, but you cannot stop them, because these are the gossip mongers, you can say, who can just gossip around. This is what they are here to do. They're nobody to judge you. But if you want to be in a toxic relationship or not be in a toxic relationship or be in that situation, that is absolutely up to you. You want to stand there and listen to each and every person, whatever comments they are passing on, then it's fine. You stand there I listen to them. But if you want to get out of this, then get out of it. Third sign, whether you are in a toxic relationship or not, is when you keep parenting the other person. When you keep telling the person, this is right, this is wrong, this is how you should do in a relationship, the only effort is coming from your side. You need to understand that each and every relationship that we are in is always binary. It cannot be, from one side happening. The relationships are always binary. The effort has to come from both the ends. Then only the relationship works. Otherwise, it doesn't. So if you are parenting your partner, if you're being made fun of, if you can't speak freely in a relationship, then you are in a toxic relationship. If you are being told to compromise your friends, your family, your life, your relatives, then you are in a toxic relationship. If you are being taken advantage of physically, mentally, emotionally, then you are in a toxic relationship. If you are not getting any support from your partner or from anybody else, or any sort of, type of a support in a relationship, and there is a feeling of contempt towards you, then you are in a toxic relationship. So why I'm saying all these things is because these are basically little signs that you can ask yourself, that is my relationship a toxic one? And what should I do about this relationship? The first question that you need to ask whenever you are in a toxic relationship is that, does the relationship have the potential to make me feel loved, safe, and protected? Am I being loved in this relationship? Am I being protected in this relationship? Do I feel safe in a relationship? If the answer is yes, then it is not toxic. But if the answer is no, then definitely you need to take few steps as far as this relationship is concerned. Then you have to see whether you can fix it or not. Now, what are the reasons? Why does a relationship become toxic? Why does a relationship become so? Why does this toxicity come in the first place? Number one, which is one of the most, you can say, the major reasons for bringing toxicity in a relationship, is poor communication skills. Most of the people who come for the counseling session, they lack communication. We do not communicate our feelings, our fears, our emotions properly to our partner or to anybody with whom we are in relationship with. We do not do that. We just feel that the other person, understands us, or we think that because we are in a relationship, that person understands. We assume that the person understands everything, the fear that we are going through or the emotions that we are going through. But it doesn't happen unless and until you are actually telling the person and communicating with the person that what is it that you don't like and what is it that you don't like and what is it that you like. You need to discuss your likes, dislikes, your your job, your goals, your aspirations, your everything, and in fact your apprehensions towards the partner. You have to be very open. Unless and until you're open and transparent with your partner or with your friend, you will not be able to grow in that relationship. This relationship is going to fester, because if you keep assuming that the other person already knows and the other person doesn't know anything about you, how will the other person is going to do the things in a right way? Communication has to be there no matter what. Then people always ask me that what if the other person doesn't want to listen? then with your friends. If the other person doesn't want to listen, then aren't you in a toxic relationship? Then comes the other reason is emotional and mental immaturity. Mostly men suffer from this emotional and mental immaturity. We have been, as women, we have been conditioned from the very beginning itself that we have to take care, we have to love the family, we have to take care of the family. So we know we become mature, as compared to the men. We become more mature than them. For example, if they are 24, they will be just like the kids who are just 15 years old. But if we are 23 or 24, we are considered to be a person who will be able to take care of the kids, will be take care of the home, will be take care of everything, will be taking care of everything. This is societal and parental conditioning that we have gone through. So what happens is when this immaturity comes, and there is a mature person and there is an immature person, they are together, their thinking will not match. Because whenever we marry the other person, it is not necessary that they will think alike or they will understand each other. The understanding develops gradually, but from the beginning itself, if we are not communicating with each other, if that maturity level is not there, the relationship starts actually festering. That those seeds, they are already started growing. It's not that relationship becomes toxic, from, you can say, after 10 years or 15 years down the line. No, the seeds are always there. It has been sown there, which we fail to see. And after 5 years or 10 years down the line, we just get a shock when actually that seed that we have sown, when it comes out, it's completely rotten. That plant is rotten. The relationship is actually, it's completely destroyed. And it's like, what did I do? We start asking this question to ourselves: what did I do? What is my mistake? And trust me, in every relationship, the mistake is not of one person only. It is, again, it comes from both the sides, both the ends. Then comes the childhood wounds and traumas that people usually have, which I generally bring that into a bracket of inner child wounds. So if a child has gone through something, some traumas in his life, if a person has gone through some trauma in his life when he was a child or she was a child, at that time also what happens is he also or she also tries to make any relationship in which he or she is in toxic. How? For example, one of the parents or both the parents have abandoned somebody. There is an abandonment issue with that person, and that inner child is not healed. So that abandonment issue will always stay there with that child, and probably he has or she has just shoved it off in the subconscious mind somewhere. But when he or she starts growing up, when the child is growing up, that problem, that issue, that inner child issue, because it is not being healed, it also starts growing. And one trigger, and it will come out. And what will happen is sometimes it happens that this actually attitude, turns into narcissism or sadism. So a child who has seen abandonment during the childhood or seen his parents not taking care of him, what happens is when he grows up or when she grows up, he also wants to do the same thing in a relationship. He wants to see that if I abandon that person, I want to see how that person also suffers. So this kind of narcissism also comes, or this kind of sadism also comes in the children, and that is why the relationship becomes toxic. You might have come across some people who keep running away from a relationship. They don't want to be in a relationship. They don't want to commit to you because they have a scare, they have a fear of commitment, because their inner child is wounded because they have seen their parents doing the same thing, not committing to them, not giving the love, the safety, the protection that they were asking for when they were child, when they were children, when they were kids. They have seen it all and it is there. It is not yet healed. So that is also one of the reasons why the relationships also become toxic sometimes, because of their inner child issues, their own traumas that are still there, that are not being healed, which they are very scared of even sharing with their partners. That is why I said communication is necessary. Unless you communicate your fears, it is very difficult for a relationship to grow. Right? Now, the question is, now you know what are the causes, what are the signs. Now, what next? What should we do about the relationship? We are in a relationship which is toxic. So either you get out of that relationship or you work for it. Then if you decide to work for it, what is it that you should do? Now, the first thing is you have to learn the art of listening. Shravanam, listening, which we always lack. Why does Patri sir he always gives more emphasis on Mona? Because when we do this word fasting, when we are not speaking a word, our capabilities to listen is more. It is very important for us to listen. You might have seen Lord Buddha's, figurines. Have you ever noticed his ears? Why his ears are so long? Why his ears are depicted so long? It is not that he had long ears. It is because Lord Buddha says that you need to listen first before you say anything. So Lord Buddha's ears depict that you need to listen more, speak less. That's what Patri sir always says, Maun, Shravanam, listening. So in a relationship also, we need to listen to the other person first, rather than, passing the judgment or passing the verdict that this is you, you are this, you are that. No. Let's give each other a chance to talk, to speak. Try to be a listener sometimes. And then you see your world changing. Then you see your relationship becoming very peaceful and harmonious. If you will listen to the other person as well, rather than just ranting about your feelings, your emotions, your fear. Yes, you should do that. But first, listen also what the other person is trying to say. Then the other thing is you can have mutual relationship goals as well. I'm not telling you that you need to sign an agreement with each other. No, you should have mutual relationship goals with each other. Mutual relationship goals in the sense that, we are together going to grow this relationship. We are going to do it together. And I'm not just saying this is between the husband and the wife. No, it can be with the two friends, the two besties, that we are going to take this relationship to that level where people will say that, yes, we should have this kind of a friendship like this person. So we should have those goals in mind. We can also find mutual interests. That is also one of the bestest tool that I've ever found, because you also know no husband, wife, no friends are completely alike. They are different in their own ways. They have their own likes, they have their own dislikes. But in a relationship, what I found is that, yes, because we have different likes and dislikes, that is the reason what happens. We start parting ways. We start growing apart. And it's really very funny that, a few months back there was the headlines in the newspaper somewhere that there was a couple who went for a honeymoon after their marriage, and when they came after the honeymoon, 10 days after that, they filed for the divorce. When the question was being asked why, so they said because he wanted to watch the football match and I wanted to watch aerobics program, which and our interest did not match, so we decided to part ways. Wow, great. So why not see if there's any mutual interest that we have. Why not take an interest in somebody else's interest also? If somebody likes aerobics, why not watch that aerobics for some time? And if I want to if I want to watch cricket match or probably rugby, so why not just call your partner also, so let's watch it together, and even if you're not interested, watch for me just for 10 minutes, and then we can have popcorns together. We need to find these little things, little moments of happiness, even if our interests do not match with each other, but we can at least make few efforts towards that. And again, the efforts is not that I'm saying that it has to be one sided, it has to be both sided. Then another very important point that has to be understood is that we need to have, or we need to set personal boundaries. If we don't want to be physical with the partner, we should say no. If we do not like something about the partner, we should say no. If we are not healthy, and if we are tired, if we cannot do more work, and if the family members are expecting that we should again stand up and start doing the work no matter what we are going through, say no. Personal boundaries have to be there. If the personal boundaries are violated, the relationship is absolutely toxic. Then, on a very empathetic note, you need to understand the other person a lot. Why? Because everybody goes through their own challenges. They have their own set of challenges that they have to go through, which we always forget. We are so much engrossed in our own selves that this is my fear, this is my life, this is what I'm going through, this is my emotion that I'm going through. Nobody bothers about my relationship, or nobody bothers about what I'm going through. But have you understood that the other person is also going through his or her own set of challenges? They have their own battles, and we are all going through everything in life. Don't even think that the other person who might have said something to you is not going through something. Yes, you have to be a little empathetic, try to be a little forgiving for each towards the other person. Because whatever, probably whatever the other person has said to you, it is because of the unresolved pain that is there inside of that person, and that is what he or she is doing, projecting that pain on you. Again, I'm not saying that you have to, just because that person is projecting pain on you, that means you will just keep letting that person do that. No, you won't do that, but you'll sit with that person. You'll try to find out and discover what are the triggers due to which your partner or your friend or your relative does that, or your parent does that, or your kid does that. Learn to empathize with that person's perspective. And once you start doing that, you will see a beautiful change in your relationship. And I am the living testimony of that. I am still in that relationship, which for me once was toxic. It had become toxic. And today I am the one who is telling you all this. And it is all because of the guidance of the angels, because of, the guidance of the Almighty and the Source. the creator, that I was being aware, made aware of all these things, which I'm sharing with you right now. And today, my relationships, all relationships, are peaceful, harmonious. If I will not say loving, it's okay, but at least they are harmonious and peaceful. My relationship with my family is beautiful. So I changed that because each one of us has that capability, because we need to understand that all the relationships are alive. For me, they are like trees, they are like plants. They require nurturing, they require attention, they require constant maintenance. If you do that, your relationship is going to prosper, it's going to grow. But if you don't, that's going to fester and die. Now, it's absolutely up to you what you want to do with your relationships. And I'm here not talking about your relationship with your spouse, I'm talking about all the relationships we today have. So if you start doing all this that I have discussed with you today, trust me, I can write it on the blank paper that all your relationships will be harmonious and peaceful and beautiful. And you'll be at peace with yourself. Trust me. And this is not something that I've taken from a book. I'm just sharing my experience with you. So I hope this session today was productive, was useful for all of you. So if any questions are there or any sharing is there, you want to share something, this is your platform, this is our platform. So please feel free to share anything that you want to.
Hi, Sharoo. So did not, I did not know that we are going to discuss this, but it was very much in resonance with what I'm facing recently. So, uh, so I've been exploring a lot about responsibility, taking responsibility for oneself and one's relationship and communication. So, so I'm at a point where I clearly say I need to take responsibility for many of my relationships, but it's really overwhelming. I don't have much energy, and it's like I have to put everything together myself now. So, what do you do in that situation?
See, right now, probably you are just tired of everything because you think that you have made all the efforts and the other person is not responding. So you just have to be a little gentle and patient with yourself. You have to give yourself a little bit of break, then think and start, again, start from the scratch and start that where did you also go wrong in this relationship? What is it that you want to do? The first and the foremost thing is the communication thing. You need to communicate properly.
Yeah.
And if the other person does not want to listen to you, still you just say, and you do it in a very polite manner, that please, I want to sit and just talk it out for once. So once you do that, once you reach to that level, that where you are empathetic, where you are not angry, where you are okay, where you are talking in a peaceful manner, then the other person will be willing to listen. And you also listen, give them a listening ear.
Yeah, I very much agree. And I have one more such scenario when you really need them, when you really need such people, but it takes a lot of energy right now. What do you do?
Yes, it does. Trust me. Yes, it does. But if you really, really want to be in a relationship and you want to work that relationship out for yourself and the other person, then you really need to work. If not, then you need to part ways and just drop this relationship and go out of it. These are the two only choices that are always there with us. That is what karmic balance and release is. So are we willing to balance it out and release this karma, or we want to take this baggage again for the next incarnation? This is what we have to, decide. So I decided to be in a relationship and I wanted to make it more beautiful, and I did, because we always say that we are the co-creators of our own reality. So yes, I am. I did. So can you?
Hi, Saru.
Thanks,
This
thanks,
is
Sharoo.
Anjana Devi. I have joined new.
Yes.
And I really appreciate and thank these sessions. And I just wanted to take brief time to also share my journey with similar thing.
Sure.
And it's a little different than what you said. For me, it was that sometimes we do need that harsh experience of pain. And that's what led me to question that why I'm having this pain.
Mm.
So I think the transformation does not come if we say it's not priority, like what I'm hearing from um, the person that oh, it's taking too much energy. But when you have so much pain that you just can't bear it, you need to keep asking that question. I have the job, I have the salary, I have the money, I have a beautiful house, I have husband, I have son, but my relationship is not good. I don't have a good relationship. It's causing me pain. And for me, some of those harsh words, like you said, the pain of the other person, when communicated, I heard words like, you value money more than your husband. And I was like, no, that's not me. But it took me to get to that calm and self reflection that why my loved ones are feeling that way, that money is more important, when that is not true. So what am I communicating to them that that's what they're feeling? So what I wanted to share is sometimes that harsh pain is needed to trigger us. Like you
Yes.
shared in your journey, it was you were at a point where you couldn't even stay there, in that house, and you wanted to leave, and you want. So for me, that was my experience, that when that pain becomes so harsh that then it becomes priority because you're not able
True.
to bear the pain. So thank you for
Absolutely.
that. I just wanted to, and rest all, I think it was beautiful how you have given different tools. And I think where I am today is the other person is in fear of this transformation because, like you said, for 10, 15 years she has been not this, and suddenly now I see this new person. I don't know, is it real or
True.
is it going to last or not? So
True.
that's where I am today. And I think patience is another thing. I think of what is Sai Baba, and I can remember those words, Shraddha and Saburi. And I think that's
Yes.
what I'm
Yes.
practicing right now for the other person, to give them their time. But I do need some some consolidation that he's receiving me. And there are subtle signs that, like you said, listening.
Yes.
It's not verbal, it's not physical, but I have to observe them deeply, and I do, and that's what is giving me the hope that I'm on the right path and it's going to be beautiful.
Wow. Amazing. 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 Applauds. Kudos to Anjana. Kudos to Anjana. I'm really glad that she shared her journey here. And I'm really very happy where she is right now, because what she chose was to make personal boundaries. And it is because of these personal boundaries that she's today where she is. I'm really glad that she could take this decision and she could do this. I'm really glad.
Thanks,
Thank
Kudos.
Anjana. It helps my situation too. Thank you for your
Yes.
comments.
thank you. And I
Thank
did
you.
want to just add the word love because that's amazing. And I also wanted to share that I was not a spiritual person. You won't believe. Like I used to say, I'm atheist. I don't believe in religion. I don't, and I'm fine, and people should respect me for that. That's how I used to talk before. But I think after going through this, my transformation, I believe in what our Hindu text says. The God is within us, and once we realize that, you will see God in each of the beings, living beings that are on the planet. And I think
Absolutely.
I feel like I have seen that, and I know that that just opens up a lot more questions to be
Yes.
answered. And I'm so glad I'm part of this group because this is helping me to answer those questions. So
Wow.
thank you
Great,
for
great, great.
yes.
Great, Anjanaji. Thank you so much for sharing this wonderful experience of yours. I know
One
it
more
has been,
comment,
yes,
if I may make on the love you mentioned, because again, this is my personal experience that since this transformation, I have started saying to people in my life, I love you, because I truly see, I think their true self. What I have realized is that my true self sees this God in each of the person because their true self is that's who they are. But
absolutely.
what we see, uh, you know, as what we say in the physical world, or what we were experiencing before was their anger, their frustration, and we were making those judgments that, oh, this
Yes.
person is that, this person is that. But once we realized that, hey, I was like that too, until I realized my true self. And that tells me that every person has that true self. And
Absolutely.
that's just beautiful. And I can love that true self in no matter who they are. So
Exactly.
I
Yes.
started saying that. And again, our society, right? So for
Yes.
men in my relationship, friends, I have to be careful, I would not. But then with the children, with the women, with the, I can, it's just coming automatically, and the
Yes.
gratitude and things like that.
Yes.
But I think there is that fear when as well, that people might think, oh, she's gone crazy or something, like, is this real? Like, how can, even my own son, he was saying that, I can't believe, how can you love this little girl next door? Because I have
Mm.
started saying her, like, my son says, I don't understand why you love her so much.
Mm.
And it's interesting, because I didn't have a daughter, and I always wanted a daughter. And now I feel like all the girls that I have in my life are my daughters. That's how I feel,
Wow.
so I don't miss that. um,
Beautiful. Yes.
yes.
I'm absolutely, I resonate with each and every word that Anjana ji is saying, because the love is being misinterpreted in this
Yes,
world.
as something like
So
physical, and
yes,
yeah.
yes, it is being misunderstood. Love is when we feel the oneness. That is
Yes.
love. When we see the source and the creator in everybody, when we feel that the speck of the creator is in each and every person, and when we start loving each and every person, in our lives, and when we feel that, we also, he also, or she is also going through the same thing what we went through at one point of time, that is when we start loving and empathizing and being compassionate towards them. So that is love. So yes, thank you, Anjana ji, thank you so much for your share. It was beautiful.
Thank you. Happy to help. And the reason that forces me to share is the same thing. I would hate anybody to be going through that same pain and sufferings. And like you said, it's our world where we say, oh, husband, wives do fight. And I say,
Yeah.
no, we should not. We should not. We should not be fighting, because our true selves do not want to fight.
Yes.
That energy should be put in, like you said, enjoying this beautiful world, learning about
Yes.
this beautiful world, and together we are better than alone. So.
Yes. Absolutely.
I
Absolutely.
I have something more to ask. So if it's a relationship between, let's say, uh, adult man and a woman, it's easy to communicate. But if it's with, I have to communicate with my father or my brother who are not so much emotionally close, it is super difficult. So how do I initiate?
No, actually, the thing is that if you just Sandeep ji, you will keep saying that it is difficult, I will not be able to do that, then you will not be able to do that. Try to
Mm.
take baby steps. That's what I
Yeah.
said, that the first thing is communicate with them. Try
Mhm.
to just hold their hand once. Just
Mm.
tell them, I want to sit with you and I want to discuss something with you. And when you say it with loving words, lovingly to that person, with a lot of compassion in your eyes, then you see that the person is definitely going to sit. If not today, tomorrow, that person is going to sit with you.
Yeah. Other
So
thing, if I may
and
add, is
moreover, I will never say that the men are not emotional. I have three men in
yeah.
my life. My husband is there, and I've got two sons who are grown ups. They're adults. So I don't think so that I would say that the men are not emotional. They are super emotional, and they
Mhm.
feel the same way the women feel. So yeah, as far as your father is concerned, he will also feel that love. He will also feel that emotion. When you start also taking baby steps towards him.
Yes, and I was going to say
Thanks a
that
lot. It
maybe
really puts perspective.
if you put
Thank you.
yourself in that shoe, would you not want to hear that? Like, sometimes that helps um, to overcome that
Uh,
hesitance, I guess.
yeah, I'm anyway planning to write open letter
Yes,
to
and
them.
writing
So
is the best, because I'll tell you, I had the similar thing, and I was able to connect with Sharuju, where she said childhood trauma, because I
mhm.
did not have the same thing, good relationship with my parents. And thank you for that as well, because it was able to help me understand why I was having this relationship issue with my husband. So now I'm able to connect that it was related to childhood. It's not like I hated my parents, but I did not have a relationship. It was a toxic relationship, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And now when I have realized the true self, you won't believe, and writing is the best way. Like
Yeah.
I, it has changed my communication with my parents.
Thank you, Anjanaji. Thank you.
Yes. So there
Thank
is
you.
definitely hope, and you would get to it as well. Is just keep it to like,
Yeah,
yourself, and keep asking the question. I think people are there and resources are there to help you get there.
definitely, definitely. Thank you.
Hi, Sharu, Lakshmi here.
Yes.
Wonderful
Hi.
topic.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, yes, I just wanted to add on these things. Like initially, I had this doubt, like, no, because we decide our partners for this life before even we take our birth, right? And whatever the challenges we face, according to me, it is for us to teach lessons, like how we can overcome those things. That may be one of the reason why we face multiple challenges with our partners. So with in my life also, like I had a lot of issues with the family as well as with the spouse. There is a lot of difference of opinions between me and my family members, and expectation is, though I was working, it was always expected that I have to complete all the household things and be like a housewife as well as be like a working woman. So that was a quite a big challenge for me. And what I did was, like I tried to, I got this, like everyone is having a, not having a positive opinion on me, then disliking me because of a number of reasons. So then I started working out one by one, especially with old, like with spouse it may be quite easy to explain and make him understand, but with in-laws, because of the age difference and there is a generation gap, it was quite difficult. So the first step what I took is to understand their likings and act according to their likings, and then I started having conversations with my in-laws based on the topics they like, and in between I was pouring my opinion so that they can understand me better. So it almost took almost like 5 years, and
Mhm.
I should appreciate myself. I had so much of patience to ensure, like they listen to me and they understand what I am. And now it is like, for anything they come to me rather than going to anyone. They
Wow.
treat me as a daughter, they never treat me as a daughter-in-law. And even my mother-in-law, she doesn't go to her own daughter to discuss anything, she just comes to me. So
Wow. Great. Amazing.
to
Amazing,
something,
Lakshmi. Amazing.
yes, we need to have patience and have that willpower, saying that I will do it at any
Yes.
cost, I will do it. So that will be really helping you, and we need to have patience and always have the positive mindset. That is what was helping me to communicate with them. Whenever I used to sit with them, I used to set a target. Okay, anytime I have to talk, whatever communicate, it should go through, like they should be able to understand. So with that mindset, I used to sit and talk to them. And
Absolutely.
yeah, I just put my effort, but later point I realized that it has been successful.
Great.
Thanks,
Yeah.
Lakshmi. I think patience is that's something that's really a take home message for me. Like,
Yes.
and the Sai Baba's message is
Yeah.
it's very soothing. It's definitely helpful.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Patience is there, and you need to understand one thing, that no other person is bad. There's nothing called good or bad here. Everybody is good. It's just the perspective, it's just the experience that the other person is having, which makes them act or behave in a particular way. So you need to be a little empathetic towards the other person, and you need to be at the same time gentle with your own self. So these are the two things which we need to understand. Then only the
Yeah,
relationships are going to be beautiful.
exactly. Yeah. And one more comment from Anjana ji is like seeing the divine in them. So that is something that I really resonated with, because they're all, the psychic being in all of us. So I think that is something, if you focus there also divine part of them, and that's maybe
Yes,
easier to,
obviously. Yes,
Yeah.
you need to, we need to, we
Yeah.
all need to. We have to be very compassionate towards the other person and
Yeah.
towards our own selves,
Yeah. Thank
right?
you. Yeah.
So I think we are going to wind up the session now. I hope it was a good session. I hope you loved the session, you liked the session. Thank you, Mrinalini. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Yes, the experiences being shared have been really, really very beautiful. So thank you so much, everyone. So I'm going to see you soon. And till that time, keep working on yourself and keep your relationship beautiful and harmonious, and just try to meditate every day. Please do not stop meditating. Just meditate every day whenever possible. There's no such time, any time to, particular time to meditate. Please meditate as much as you can. And I am telling you that for sure you're going to get the clarity of your life like I did. So thank you so much. Good night. Shukriya aap sab logon ka. Thank you so much for listening to me and for being here in my session. Thank you so much. Good night and good mornings and good evenings. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Thank you.
everyone. Bye bye.